everybody. So today I'm going to be making bread and it's because it's Saturday. So whenever Saturday rolls around, I always want to make things for the week. And I think most of you, oh hey, all the love, hi. If you're just joining now, make sure to tap the screen. Let me know that you're there. That's how you show love on Periscope. So if you're loving the recipe, if you're loving what I'm doing, tap that screen and show me some love, y'all. All right, so as many of you know who followed me on naturalnicole.com and on Natural Nicole on Instagram, I recently lost 65 pounds last year by maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. And part of maintaining a healthy lifestyle was really getting into my kitchen and making sure to cook all the time. So that sounds tough if you're trying to be healthy and you're like, oh, how am I gonna do it? I don't have the time to cook. One of the things that I do, hey everybody, hey, thanks for joining, good morning. One of the things that I do is I make a point to try to cook at the end of every week. So I spend my Saturdays and my Sundays trying to throw together a couple of recipes, and then I just leave that stuff in the fridge, and I'm good for the week. So I don't know how many of you guys out there love bread, right? That's like one of the reasons you have all that wagging you're dragging, right? Because you love bread. Let me get a tap if you love some bread. You're like, carbs, let me get them carbs. I love carbs, right? I know. So I absolutely love it. And one of the things about it is that bread can be really good in moderation, right? You know, so if I'm going to eat it, it better be good. And that means that I don't even want the stuff from the store. I'm going to make my own. So a lot of you, I think when you were growing up, maybe had a mom that made bread and it took hours, right? It was like, oh, she's got to knead it. It has to rise, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to do that here. This recipe is a no-knead, 4-ingredient, ready to bake in an hour bread that stores in your fridge for up to 3 weeks. That's right. So once your bread is all finished and your dough is ready to go, you can put it right into your fridge and let it sit there. So I usually make enough dough to probably make 5 or 6 different loaves. And over the course of an entire month, I'll just grab a little bit of dough, throw it into a pan, and I'm ready to make dough at any point. So I can have fresh bread. If you guys came over, I can have fresh bread ready in like 30 minutes. So everybody walks to my house like, yo, who is this Betty Crocker? More like Benicia Crocker, right? Benicia Crocker. But, you know, I'm like, I'm baking, okay? So let's get right into it. For those of you who don't have a pen and paper, tap on the screen so I know that you're grabbing a pen and paper real quick. Give me some love so I know you're grabbing one. Okay, good. So grab a pen and paper. Oh, you just invited me over today. You're in DC. Come on over. And we'll just chat while you guys are grabbing pens and paper, okay? Anybody wants to come over, there's going to be fresh bread. You're welcome. So if you've got your pen and paper ready, this is really easy. If you have your phone or your iPad, you're ready. So these are the ingredients. First things first, in order to bake any bread, you're going to need flour. That's just a given. This is the stuff that ends up here and here and here. This is the good stuff. Now, if you're looking to make healthy choices, it doesn't have to be white flour. You know what I mean? Oh, I would love to have anybody over. You guys, let me know. Email me at naturalnicole@gmail.com and we can get together. You know, I'm like super regular. Like, I'm not even famous. People are always like, yeah, oh my God, I met her and she was so down to earth. Or I met her and she looked like my cousin. Y'all, I have a generic face. Okay, I look like everybody's cousin. And I am certainly not famous. I trip. I hit my head all the time and I barely know what I'm doing. So realistically, I'm down. If you ever see me, give me a hug and come chat because I love y'all. But that said, if you're looking to make a healthier option, you don't have to use white flour. You can always switch and use wheat flour. You can use multigrain. This is where you get to really have fun, and none of it will change your recipe. So go to Trader Joe's, or if you're like me, I'm cheap. So I'd rather eat a little bit less of the really good bread than eat, you know, a large portion of brown bread, if that makes any sense. So, hey, oh my gosh, who wants me to hang? If you want me to hang or you have business opportunities, y'all email me, naturalnicole@gmail.com. If you have questions about the hair, find me on Instagram @naturalnicole. If you just think I'm cute, tap the screen. Yes! So, thank you. So, I use white flour. It's about maybe like $3 or $4 at the local, thank you. It's about $3 or $4 at the local Safeway or Giant, but you can also get this up at the at your Family Dollar or dollar store for a couple bucks. So You'll need that. You'll also need active dry yeast. See that? It's made by Fleischmann's. It's like a commercial, right? You'll need active dry yeast. So this stuff is pretty inexpensive. It's only like $6, but this will last you like 6 months. So you don't need a lot of it. Active dry yeast. You'll need salt from Martin's. Do you really need the apron? Oh, do I need the top part? Y'all, I'm trying to be official. I'm trying to be official. This is cooking. Okay, that's why I have an apron on. Okay, no, in real life, you guys want to know the truth? I have a lot of aprons. So this is weird. This is a little detour, right? So hi, everyone. Hi from South Carolina. Lots of love. Prayers for Charleston. Lots of love. Thank you for joining. So in my house, we actually have like a whole apron thing that we do. It's kind of ridiculous. I've got one for the baby, right? This is for the 3-year-old. We have 3 foster kids, and this is for the little one. I wear this one because I think it's the most official one. I know we're taking a little apron break. Y'all don't do aprons? Am I the only person? For real? I also do house dresses. You know what I mean? Like back in the day, I wear like dresses with buttons. Let me stop telling all my business. Y'all making fun of me. Oh, you were ready for this though. I'm also wearing a romper. This is what I wear around the house. Oh, y'all didn't know about that though, did you? Double tap for the romper. Yes. It's like Betty Crocker, you know, at first, and then you pull it off, it's like Benicia, right? So then, I also have this apron, which I love, and this one is actually themed after Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't know if you've seen it. It's Frohman's Sausage Company. Frohman's. So I also wear this one, and then we have this one that's just from IKEA. This one's the Huggins, and I like it because it makes him look like he's like grilling, so yeah, I do wear an apron. So for those of you who don't, you know, get yours. Aprons are where it's at, okay? That's all part of the look. So, making me all distracted, cracking jokes and stuff. This is the worst part about Periscope. You're in the middle of doing something. It's like having 10,000 children. You're trying to get stuff done. People in here cracking jokes. Cute romper, thank you. The romper was $12 at Forever 21. So for those of you who have a Forever 21 near you, $12. It's a good beach cover-up. It has a snap right here. You know, if you're trying to be more Christian, you know, you can kind of snap it up. But if you're trying to be real, boom! Let me stop. I'm just trying to get likes. Tap, tap, tap. You got to get naked nowadays. Can't just bake bread. You got to give a show, y'all. You got to give a show. So that said, back to bread making. I know, it's like Amish 101, right? What am I cooking? I'm making bread, everybody. I'm making bread. So that said, we've already gone over the first 2 ingredients. Flour, and you need a big bag because you're going to need 6 cups of this. Yeast, because you're going to need to make it rise. And water is a must. You only need 3 cups of warm water. And salt, because, you know, salt. So this is super, super easy. I don't have a bread maker. So everyone, this is the key. I'm budget, okay? My parents are African. I used to make s'mores around a gas stove with a fork. I would put my marshmallow right on that fork, turn on my gas burner, and get roasting. You know what I mean? Hi, Derek from Canada. Thanks for joining. So, and I would just get roasting. I called them ghetto campfire s'mores, okay? My family did not have bread maker money, so this is just regular white bread that I make at home, and I only use a container, some measuring cups, because I can't eye it. You know, my mom's African. She's like, we don't measure anything. You just go ahead and you throw it together. You don't measure. Look, I have to measure, okay? So I know you Caribbeans out there, like, you know what you're doing, but no, my parents are from Ghana, West Africa. So that's why you don't see this motherland soil-colored mahogany undertones, y'all. This is specifically African flesh, okay? So in any case, so I just kind of, you know, do what I can with what I got. And that's what's great about this recipe. You can make this in a college dorm room, at your friend's house. All you need is an oven, this, like a container, some water, some yeast, some salt, and some flour. Pretty easy, right? Hey, I got lots of y'all on here. You guys are all like, whew, fam. So we'll go over it one more time so you can write it down. Flour, yeast, Fleischmann's, salt, and water. These are your only ingredients. I know, so easy, right? 4 ingredients. So, first things first, you're going to want to, if you got the ingredients hands down, tap the screen, just so I can know to move on to the next step. Tap, 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 tap. Show me some love. Show me some love. Make the hearts come out. Perfect. So first things first, it's super easy. You're going to want to take 3 cups of warm water, and warm meaning that if you stick your hand in it, it doesn't burn, okay? So that's super easy. Oh yeah, if you gotta go, you can watch it on replay. It'll be on the Natural Nicole Periscope for 24 hours. And I'm gonna try to upload some of these to my YouTube page. And it's easy to find me on YouTube. It's youtube.com/naturalnicole. And I got tons of videos, okay? So here we go. You add some water, it's 3 cups, and you just add this to like your container. Now this is one container that you can use because you gotta give the bread room to like get big. But here's the container I like to use, okay? So this is the container that I use. So I love this. Oh my God, I'll do a banana bread recipe. Y'all, I got you. And all my recipes are like cheap and easy. So like, cause I mean, who has time for that? I don't. So you'll pour your water in your container, and then you're gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of salt. Super easy. So like, the way to remember this recipe is like so easy. You've got 3 cups of water, 6 cups of flour, 1.5 tablespoons of salt, 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. Get it? Everything's kind of divisible by itself. 6, 3, 1.5, 1.5. That's like how I remember it, so I can make it anywhere. Super easy. So you're gonna go ahead and add 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And for those of you that aren't big on salt, you can use some salt alternatives. I personally stick with the real deal and just eat small portions of things that I love. So you add that, and then 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. Oh wait, I already measured it out. I was trying to be fancy. I already measured things in my little like ramekins like they do on TV. So this would be my yeast, 1.5 tablespoons, using this. Boop. And I already added my salt, and you just mix that into the warm water. So you stir, and you want it to dissolve. And so when you know that your yeast is like active and ready for your flour, then you'll start to see some bubbles. So I already went ahead and dissolved some yeast earlier today. Here you go. It only takes maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. It doesn't take that long, but you'll see a couple of little bubbles at the bottom. I don't know if you can see those. Tap the screen if you can see that. See how it's like kind of murky colored? That's because my yeast is all dissolved. So you put that in. Then you're gonna add, great, good, you guys can see that, good. Then you're gonna go ahead and add your flour. How easy is this, y'all? Literally, water, salt, yeast in one container, and then you add your flour. So you're gonna add 6 cups of flour. You can just measure it out. There's 1, there's 2, and I'm actually gonna go ahead and add, I've already measured out the rest of it, and I'm just gonna add it all in. And this is 6 cups of flour. So you can use whole grain, you can use wheat flour, you can use multigrain. It's super, super easy. All right? Are you guys with me? You still with me? Tap the screen so I know y'all are there. I see nobody's dropping off. Y'all are like, I'm trying to see this recipe. I'm trying to eat this bread. All right, great. So now you've got your yeast and your water and your salt at the bottom, and I've added my flour on the top. And I highly recommend, if you guys can find a container like this, this one is made by Rubbermaid. You can get it on Amazon. I picked this one up at my local Family Dollar. So it only cost me, I want to say $3, because you know not everything's $3, right? So not everything's $1. This was $3. But it's great because what happens is as your bread starts to rise up to the top, it kind of like pushes off the top, and then you're like, it's ready! You know, you have a container, then you're ready. All you need is, I'm sure you have salt. If you guys already have a container like this, or a container for cereal or something like that, you're ready to go. All you need pretty much that you probably don't have in your house is yeast. And you can find this anywhere. So once you have yeast, you literally can make bread right away. How awesome is that? So we got this all ready to go. And assuming you're working with clean hands, and I'm hoping you all are, and if not, if you're African or if you're of the Caribbean region, you're probably like, don't tell me my hands need to be clean. My hands are clean. What? I gave birth to you. I gave birth to you, and now you can't eat off my hands, right? Isn't that like what your mom used to say, right? Like way too serious. So needless to say, my hands are clean, but I wish my family would tell me they weren't, right? So you're gonna go ahead, and I like to use my hands to mix everything up. Before I do, I often will spray my hand with like Pam and stuff, because your bread's gonna get really sticky. So you go ahead and give it a quick spray, just so that your mix doesn't stick to you, right? And then just mix it up. And what you're gonna find is very quickly this will turn into like a sticky dough mixture. But that means that you're doing the right thing. So this is like probably the most African thing ever. Okay, so y'all wanna hear the truth? We're gonna have a truth moment, right? So when I first started making this recipe, it's a mixture of one that I found in Amish country and a couple of changes that I found online, right? Every single recipe was like, you wanna use a spoon that you make sure you wet properly. I'm like, I'm African. I don't have time for a spoon. I can't use a spoon. I need to just mix this up. Like, I really don't have time for a spoon. I think I need to add a little more flour. So whenever it seems like it's not thick, you can see the consistency of it right now. See how that's a little bit goopier? I'm gonna add just a little more flour because I think I was a little light with my mixing, trying to be prepared in advance. But that's what's great about this recipe is that there's a lot of room, like there's a margin for error. What matters when baking, because baking is like chemistry, what matters the most is that your yeast and your salt are correct. So that's always going to be 1.5 tablespoons of yeast and 1.5 tablespoons. Oh, everybody says this. Okay, so good. I'm so glad you guys are all saying you suck at making bread because realistically, bread is like the hardest thing to make. And I can't say I can make any other bread, but this bread, I can rock every single time. It's amazing. It's the easiest thing ever. So added a little more flour. I'm just going to keep mixing it. And you'll know because you'll be like, oh my gosh, I made bread dough. So my African self just got right in here with my hands. Yeah, tomorrow you should do it. I'm telling you, everybody, just try it. And like realistically, even if you don't get it right, even if you're not perfect at your bread making, if you try this recipe, what did you waste? Like $4 in flour? Stop being cheap. You just wasted some flour. It's not that big of a deal. Stop being cheap. Like, it's so simple. And you mix this all together. So after you finish getting your bread nice and sticky, and you'll know, like, see how this is starting to stick? Boom, we are getting a bread dough texture. And you're gonna mix this up so that your lumps, it's okay if there's a little bit of lumps. Is this gluten-free? Okay, that's a great question. So I know a lot of people are trying to be gluten-free and look out for healthy options. And one of the things that I mentioned is this is not gluten-free. This is just your plain old, like this is your cheapest. So you're right, you can use whole wheat flour. If you have a Trader Joe's or a Whole Food near you, you absolutely can get gluten-free stuff. I also know that some people, this is vegan though, by the way. This is vegan and vegetarian. There are no animal products in this whatsoever. So you absolutely can go ahead and make this for any vegetarian friends, things of that sort, because there's no animal byproducts. But you can use flour alternatives. I know some people use like rice flour or coconut flour. Mine could be used as a weapon. Y'all really had some bread struggles. There we go. Now we've got sticky dough texture. So this is what you're looking for. I don't know if you guys can see. Woo! We got bread dough, y'all. And notice that this is no knead. This isn't that whole like, I don't know if you guys have remembered having like grandmoms and mothers making dough in the past when they're in the kitchen sweating, okay? Sweating, okay? Like they're in there like, whoa, trying to knead up that dough. Oh, I lost you. I'm back, y'all. I'm right here. I didn't go anywhere. I'm right here. See what happens when you try to use a tripod? Almost lost you for a second. Right here. Like in the past, you would see your grandma, she'd be sweating, trying to like knead up that dough. That's how intense it was. She was dropping her phone, okay? It was intense. So you knead up the dough, and that's it. When your dough is at a sticky consistency, much like this one, if you can see where it's sticking, but it's still dropping in like clumps, then you're doing the right thing, okay? Sticky, but it's in clumps like that, all right? That means that your dough is ready to rise. Oh, I need to clean my screen? I'm mad y'all are like really in my kitchen. Periscope is real, everybody. You guys are like, your screen is smudged. All right, let me see if I can clean it off. I really do have, my screen really is dirty. There we go. I'm like, get out my kitchen. You guys, this is how real it is. This is going to be on the replay. Everyone's going to be like, for real? Is that any better? A little bit, right? We gonna make it through. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. You might not see my gorgeous face, but you're gonna see this recipe. So there you go. We now have the sticky dough, right? Boop, good to go. And then that's it. You now have bread dough. You have done it. That is it. All you have to do now is clean off your hand, cover it up like so, just like this. And that's it. You let it sit. I let my bread sit. Usually if I'm in the middle of doing any other type of baking or cooking, I'll go ahead and preheat my oven to 425. So you're going to bake this bread on 425. And you just let it go ahead and you let it heat up and you're good to go. You let your bread rise in about an hour. What is great about this sort of container is you'll see that the dough will move from here up to the top. So you know how sometimes when you're looking at dough in a bowl, you can't really tell if it's rising until it like comes up over the bowl? You don't have that issue here because it will literally start to get taller as it starts to rise. So we're not as official as the Food Network here. It's not like I'm about to pull some already risen dough and be like, and now our dough is finished and we'll start baking. Y'all gonna wait on this dough because I'm not trying to make a bunch of bread. Okay, this is it. So you're gonna wait on this one. I'll be back later with my fully risen dough and a part 2 video and after it's finished baking, so you don't have to sit around for 2 hours. But this is what matters, you guys. This is what matters. So you mix it up, you let it sit, an hour later you're good to go. Just so that you guys know what I like to bake it in. I like to bake in these containers. So I like to use a glass container because I don't think it sticks that much, and this is a regular loaf pan. Can I close the blinds more? I'm mad y'all are in my house. Why don't you close the blinds? No, let me go do that. I'm like, ugh. Does that help? Less glare? I'm washing my hands. Y'all, I'm washing my hands. It is so real. Y'all have me cracking up, like, with your comments. Can you close the blinds? Can y'all give me something to drink? I'm thirsty. Can y'all scratch my back? Like, no, please, okay? Please, no, I can't close my blinds more. Hey, Tanika, hey! Be a love girl. All right, tap the screen for love. I need to know y'all are still with me because we've had some technical difficulties around here. No, we were talking about what I bake in. So you bake on 425, and I like to use this glass loaf pan, and then I also use this silicone pan. So this silicone pan is actually like a 6-loaf pan, and you just spray it before you bake with this. And that is it, y'all. That's it. You make bread. Literally. Once this is fully risen, you'll just grab a pinch of your loaf bread, put it into a pan, throw it in the oven on 425, preheated, for about 35, 40 minutes, right? 35, 40 minutes. Then that's it. You got bread. That's it. So that's it. That's the whole recipe. I know. 4 ingredients. So who needs a review? Ingredients. We're going to run through it. Tap the screen if you want a quick review. Ready? Here, all right, here we go. Ingredients. 6 cups of flour. 1.5 cups of, we're going to start from scratch. 6 cups of flour. 1.5 tablespoons of salt. 1.5 tablespoons of yeast. 3 cups of water, warm. That's it. Don't do extra, okay? You're going to combine your salt, your yeast, and your warm water in a container and stir it. Got it? Then once that's done, you'll add your 6 cups of flour. That's it. You can use gluten-free flour. You can use wheat flour. You can use multigrain. It's up to you. You're able to store this bread dough once it's risen, which it'll take about an hour, in the fridge for 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, whenever you want bread, you can open up your container, pinch out a little bit, throw it in a greased pan, bake it on 425 for 35, 40 minutes, and you have fresh baked bread. That simple. That's simple. Yep. 1.5 tablespoons of yeast, 1.5 tablespoons of salt. Thank you guys so much for typing it out. It's helpful. Don't worry, I do have this recipe up on naturalnicole.com, so you'll be able to see it, and I'll also have all the finished product posted. But right now, I'm going to show you my messy kitchen because you're responsible. Look at that! And these are the results, y'all. These are the results of me showing you everything, okay? So thanks everyone for tuning in. You can definitely catch the replay if you missed the beginning. There were a couple of really sexy moments that I think make it worth watching. And I appreciate all your patience when I drop my phone off the tripod. And make sure to tune in. So I'm getting ready to sign off. I'll be back with the finished product in about an hour or so, go ahead and tap the screen and show me love right before I leave. And I'm going to show you guys love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thanks so much for tuning in. Love, 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 love. And bye, y'all.